listening to the African Injection Show right here on WFSK 88.1 FM and also online at WFSK.org. I'm your friend Lamin here, bringing you the great music from around the continent of Africa and also some information about things going on in the continent of Africa. There are a lot of activities going on about World Food Week in everywhere around the world. And also here in Nashville, the Tennessee State University is doing some activities about World Food Week. And on the line now is Leslie Speller Henderson, who is a food and nutrition specialist from TSU. And she is joining us now to talk to us a little bit more about World Food Program or World Food Day and World Food Week, especially what's going to be going on at TSU. Hello, Leslie. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm good.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Nice to have you here on the African Injection Show to tell us more about the World Food Week at Tennessee State University.
Okay.
I understand the World Food Week at TSU is going to start sometime on the 14th, if not already started.
It is, and it is going to start on the 14th officially, but what we're going to do is make it into a whole week of activities. Starting October 12th, we're going to start a canned food drive because as well as bringing attention to world food, we also have our own issues here locally. So we're going to support some local organizations with a food drive on campus. And then, so the 12th starts. And on the 14th, we're going to have a speaker come in to talk about sustainable agriculture, because that's one of the issues with the world food. Is there's not enough food to feed the world, basically. And then going on to the 16th is when we have really our major activities. It's the World Food Day program, and that's the day actually that is observed all around the world. And we'll have a panel discussion. And once again, we're going to be doing that with local organizations that are trying to help the food crisis issue. Because the theme for World Food Day is achieving food security in times of crisis. So we're going to try and bring it home with the panel discussion and then roundtable discussions. Then we're also going to have a world food market. And that's where the different faculty who are international in the Agriculture and Consumer Sciences School at Tennessee State University are going to showcase a food dish from their country. And we ask that the food be focused around food that the poor, those who don't have, something they would eat. Like one year we gave out a quarter cup of rice to everyone because some people in this world only get a quarter cup of rice every day. So we're hoping to have the more simple dishes to bring attention to this is still good food, this is the way you need to eat, and getting staple food and still getting nutrition in.
I was going to ask you if this is the first time that TSU is doing this kind of program, but I think you've already answered the question.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not the first time.
No.
And there will be, like you said, many programs going on for that week. Presentations, there will be people there to speak about world hunger and malnutrition and issues regarding that. And there will be a world food recipe contest also.
Yes, thank you. I forgot about that, and we were reviewing those recipes the other day. And actually, once again, it became more localized as opposed to world, where we asked the people to submit recipes that are recession-proof. What kind of food do we eat to stretch our food further? So we got quite a few rice dishes, quite a few dishes with fish, quite a few with chicken, because those are the food ingredients that we use to stretch, and noodles, of course, to stretch dishes.
Right, and you also mentioned about considering community-based organizations that deal with hunger and malnutrition and things like that. And many often when people talk about hunger and malnutrition, many of us tend to think about third world countries, but unfortunately it's something that's going on in even developed countries. So would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it is. We tend to think that it can't happen here to us, here as in America, here as in the United States, here as in Nashville and in Tennessee. And it does. We do have hunger here. And there are community organizations that are trying to raise awareness to it, and we tend to call it food security, where people are not getting food from a secure source, as in it may not be at the grocery store, it may not be growing in their garden, and they may have other ways of getting food, be it dumpster diving, so to speak, and the other ways that we acquire food and what things to eat. So bringing attention to that. And those organizations that are going to be there will be during the panel discussion. And we have Elizabeth Table, who's coming, an organization called Good Food for Good People. We have Second Harvest of Middle Tennessee will also be at the table. And we invited a community member to come, because it's one thing for organizations to talk about the work they do. It's another thing for a person who's actually living and using the work that organizations are doing and talk about how it is helping or affecting or changing their life. So,
right, and I was reading some statistics, if you like, about the world hunger and malnutrition, and it's I don't know how to put it. There is a whole lot of people, millions of people, who are suffering from hunger and malnutrition all around the world. I'm wondering, do you think we will come to a time when we will be thinking about this as a past thing, that all this large amount of people will be suffering from hunger, when there are some claims that we can do enough to make sure that everyone in the world get enough food?
That is a very good question. That's a very good thought also, because we would like to think, and as you said, I'm a food nutritionist, and so I would like to think that everyone can get enough food. And I believe that is what World Food is about, bringing attention to what is going on in the world, that we're not getting enough food. Because once again, in countries like our own, we tend to think that everybody has, because we think that we have it made and don't realize that there's a lot of malnutrition in the world. And unfortunately, and I think that's where sustainable agriculture comes on. It comes into play. If we could get back to what we were doing 50 to 100 years ago, having our own gardens in our own space, where we were producing our own food and we knew where our food came from, if we could get back to before there were droughts, before we have over-processed the land so it can't produce any more food. If we could get back to that, and if we can reverse the damage that we've done to the soil, that'll be so awesome that I believe we can cure world hunger and malnutrition. And it's, if we're willing, and then it's, and I'm thinking if we're willing, it's more of a policy decision. I think little people understand what needs to be done, but can we talk to the people who are really making decisions for all of us?
I was going to ask you something, on that line too, because it seems like the politicians, if you like, or the people in the leadership are the one who can do more, and they have the ability to do it, but it seems like sometimes it's like an unwillingness on their side to do something that can solve all these problems. So, what do you think they need to be doing?
Excuse me. That's a very good question. And unfortunately, what I've come to understand is that our hunger or our plight is not a business concern. Business is all about making money. And it's almost as if everything else, collateral damage or unintended consequences. And if we can get people to be aware of what needs to be done, for example, corn, which is really not produced for human consumption, if we got back to making corn that people can eat to stay alive, or to even subsidize a crop that could actually feed people to eliminate malnutrition, that's when I believe it can really happen. And once again, it is the big organizations, the big business, the political decision, where people want to put their dollars, they want to make money, and it's not always about the little people.
And of course, there is a whole lot that we can talk about when it comes to world food programs and world hunger, malnutrition, and the sufferings related to food shortages. But we don't have enough time on this show to talk about all that.
Yes.
And again, we want to thank you very much, Leslie, for joining us to tell us a little bit more about this. And this is very important, because without food, I don't think I would be standing here talking.
Isn't the truth?
Right.
And I have a job because of it, so it's awesome. It's a good discussion, and thank you so much.
Yeah, and that's Leslie Speller Henderson, Food and Nutrition Specialist at Tennessee State University. Thank you very much once again for being on the African Injection Show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Yes, of course, that's the African Injection Show. It's 25 minutes gone past the hour of 1. I'm Lamin here with you until the hour of 2 o'clock, so stay right there. Don't go anywhere. and we will bring you some great music from around the continent of Africa, and of course some more information here on WFSK 88.1 in the Fisk University Of course, you're listening to the African Injection Show. Yeah, I've been saying that a lot, and I know, and I'm doing it so that it can stick with you. Yeah, because it's the only show in here that brings you closer to the continent of Africa. So you gotta check it out every Saturday from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock right here on WFSK 88.1 FM on online at WFSK.org. Yeah, we've talking. I just finished talking with Leslie about World Food Activity, World Food Week and World Food Day coming up this month. And of course, it should be a big concern to all of us because there are millions of people all around the world that when they have one meal are thinking about the next one, not knowing whether they will have it or not. In fact, according to estimates, I believe by the Food and Agriculture Organization, 1 out of every 6 people in the whole world are suffering from hunger, and that's about 105 million increase in 2009. So it should be a big concern to all of us, and especially in this time when the economies are just not very right. The economies are so bad. Even in the times when the economy is not bad as it is now, food shortage is a problem in many parts of the world, so much more this time around. It should be a big concern to all of us, and we should all do anything that we can do, no matter how little it is. That's why I want to say once again, thank you very much to the guests that the Planet Creole crew have on their show today for helping the poor people and the people that really need help in Haiti. Thank you very much. I don't know if you guys are listening, but if you're not, it's all the same. Anyone who is doing a wonderful job out there to save his or her fellow human beings is doing a great job, and that should be the priority of all of us, because when we're living in the world where we all have peace of mind, mostly things will be much better for all of us. So let's work on that. It's 29 minutes gone past the hour of 1 here in the studios of WFSK, and I'm your friend again, Lamin, with the African Injection. So yeah.